All right, gonna start a knife here. I've got a big saw blade that I was given. Works really good for smaller knives, thinner knives like skinners and stuff. Doesn't work too well if you want to make like a big Bowie knife. It's fairly thick, but not thick enough for something you're gonna be batoning with or doing a lot of heavy chopping. But small utility knives, camping knives, something real small works great. So first knife I had requested is similar, basically what I would call like a deer slayer, Schrade's deer slayer. It's kind of my rendition of that, but it's just a nice small knife for fillet, skin, use at the camp, whatever you want to do. But I put just a small Scandinavian grind on it. It holds a real good edge when it's nice and steep like that with this thinner metal. But so what I'm going to do is get this laid out. I don't make two knives the same. So I'm going to get this on there. I actually want to take some of this upsweep away and give it a little less of an upsweep on the blade side, and then also on the tip. I want to kind of flatten that out a little bit. So I'm going to get this laid on there where I want it, and get it traced and kind of figure out where I want to go, and then get it cut out. But I'll pause the video here while I kind of get my mock-up here of how I want the blade to run, and then we'll come back before we cut it out. All right, flip the blade around here, but kind of laid this knife on, just traced around to give myself an idea. And you can see I took some of that upsweep away. May come back with a little bit of it when I do my final grinding to get the actual aesthetics down. I just didn't want it to sweep up quite that much. I may have it sweep up a little bit more than that, but a lot of that can get decided when I'm grinding and sanding on it where I want it to go. So I'm just go back in my sheath that I strapped to my machete sheath here. So when I'm out camping, I take my machete with me, and I know I've got a small knife, and then I also got a lighter strapped to the back of it. I'm going to make a PVC flashlight holster as well to get strapped to that. So if I want to go out and do something, I can pretty much have everything I need. So I'm going to get set up outside, get this out there, get the cutoff wheel, get this cut out, and then come back before we grind. Two nice things here, important things. Safety glasses, kids. You only get two eyes, and you need them to last you for your entire life. A pair of MIG or TIG gloves are real thin leather, but they're nice and comfortable. But these I got given to me by a buddy of mine. They're actually green, so they eliminate all the spark that you get, so you can actually see your lines a little bit easier, kind of like a welding mask. But they're real nice. So I'll get set up, get this cut out, and we'll come back. All right, took actually longer to haul everything outside than it did to make a couple cuts just to get this out. Left myself plenty of material around it. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure on the actual design of the blade yet. I might take it a little bit higher than it is. So I left myself plenty of material to be liberal with that and give myself some options as I go. So now it's time to throw it on the grinder, or not throw, kids. Sit it on the grinder and start taking away some of this excess material. Drag my water bucket over there nice and close so I can dunk it as I go. After I get done grinding it, I will be putting on heat. I do want to go ahead and even out the annealing on it, because it's going to, from cutting it and grinding it, it's going to have real uneven tempering. So I just want to go ahead and anneal the entire blade after I do this, to bring it to just one consistent soft piece of metal. That way when I start filing, I'm not going to run into hard spots and everything. So we'll start grinding, and I'll come back when we're done with that part. Okay, got the grinding done. Like I said, I wanted to make it look a little different, so it's not quite finished. Done with the grinder, and ran it on the belt sander for a little bit to even up all the grind marks on the edges. Still have some work to do right in here on what you'd basically consider like the ricassa, or the kind of the finger guard, and then also on the area where your thumb can go to press to clean those up. But I got some little files. But what I'm going to do next is go ahead and put it in the vise, get some heat on it, get it red hot. That way we can soften it up a little bit, so I can keep using the belt sander to bring it down once it's a little softer and more evenly annealed or tempered out to a real soft. It'll sand a lot easier on the sander, and then obviously my files will work a lot better for cleaning up these areas and everything. So get it in the vise, get some heat on it here, and we'll come right back. All right, I just use such thin metal. I just use little camping propane bottles with like a plumber's torch head on it. Might sound a little silly. I found out the hard way that with these saw blades, if you're going to make a knife out of one, you're better off cutting it out and enduring the fact that it's a little bit harder since it's not annealed, and grinding would be a lot easier if it was. But I've actually thrown large chunks of this, in fire and heated them up, and I don't know if it's just because they've been spun their entire life, but they have a very high tendency to want to warp as soon as you put heat on them. I haven't had much trouble when I actually cut it out and remove as much of that material around it as possible when I go ahead and bring it up to, fairly red, probably not quite to where it's not magnetized anymore. It won't hold on to a magnet, but I haven't had any trouble with it filing or being soft enough for that. So I only heat it up really in the ricassa area, just a little below that in the handle all the way to the tip, because right now I'm just going to be filing, drilling my holes from a little fisheye I put back here and cleaning up those areas with a small file, so I want them to be soft. When I'm ready to go ahead and drill the handle out for pins and everything, I'll heat it up in those specific areas before I drill those out to soften it up a little bit. So just need to let this air cool, and the next video will be filing, and then probably another video on sanding. The filing process will take a little while. So appreciate you watching, and we'll be back with another video soon.